Hello everybody, today we're going to be looking at solving a quadratic equation with a square root. We're going to use this method when there is no linear term in the equation. Right? We're going to use this method when there is no linear term in the equation. That means there's no x term. There's no just plain x. We have x squareds, we have constants, but we don't have an x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve A, and then we're going to label what each step is as we do it. So for problem A, I have 4x squared minus 63 equals 1. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to kind of treat this like it was 4x minus 63 equals 1. I'm just going to add the 63 to both sides. And then I'm going to keep treating this like this is just 4x. It's nothing special or different because it really isn't. And I get x squared equals 16 because I divided the 4 from both sides. So what I did here is I isolated the thing being squared. I isolated the squared. I isolated what was being squared. And you can only do this because there is no linear term. Next, I'm going to undo the squaring. I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So my second step is to square root both sides. So now I have x equals 4, that's the square root of 16, but I have to include my plus or minus. You don't want to forget your plus or minus symbol because, sure, 4 is a solution to this equation. I absolutely agree. But the square root of 16 could refer to positive 4 or negative 4, correct? It's really talking about what number squared is 16. Well, 4 squared is 16, I agree, but negative 4 squared is also 16. Negative 4 times negative 4 is still 16. And if you were to plug either value back into the equation, both would work, but you would get 1 equals 1 either way. So we need to be careful to remember to include our plus or minus. Okay? All right. My last step would be to simplify and solve. I didn't really have a lot of simplifying to do, so I'm just going to write it in. Let's try this again. 22 equals x squared minus 50. So I need to get the x squared by itself, so I add 50 to both sides. So I have 72 equals x squared. Now I need to take the square. I screwed up this color coding, but I think you'll get the point. I'll square root both sides. The square root of 72 equals x. I need to remember my plus or minus. Now, I need to simplify that square root of 72. 72 is 6 and 2. It's 36 and 2. Square root of 36 is 6. So this is plus or minus 6 root 2 equals x. All right. In example C, you might not immediately identify what is being squared. So I'm just going to kind of give it a good highlight here. Right here, we have the whole x plus 1, and it's all squared. We're going to treat that x plus 1 like it's one variable, like it is the thing being squared, because it is. It's the whole set of parentheses being squared. It's the whole quantity x plus 1. So I'm going to just act like everything is normal here. I'm going to add 27 and I get 27 equals 3 times x plus 1 squared. Now I need to still isolate that x plus 1. So I'm going to divide that 3 out. Some of you may be tempted to distribute the 3 in, but you can't do that because there is an exponent on this set of parentheses. So if we were simplifying, right, we would need to deal with our multiplication and our exponents before we deal with the distribution or multiplication. All right, so I'm going to divide the 3 out, and that'll give me 9 equals x plus 1 squared. And now I have the x plus 1 squared all by itself. I can radical both sides. The square root of 9 gives me plus or minus 3 equals x plus 1. So that means that I have x plus 1 equals 3, or x plus 1 equals negative 3. And I can solve both of these equations. And there I go. I'm going to make up one more example of that real quick, just to prove a point. Let's say I had, 7 equals 2 times x minus 4 squared minus 21, let's say. So the first thing I want to do is add the 21 to both sides, just like I did in the last example. And I get 28 equals 2 times x minus 4 squared. I need to divide the 2 out. So 14 equals x minus 4 squared. I have the x minus 4 squared all by itself, so I'm going to square root both sides, and I get the plus or minus square root of 14 equals x minus 4. And at this point, I can't really because I can't simplify that 14, and I still have to add my 4 over, right? So I'm going to have 4 plus or minus the square root of 14 equals x. That's an acceptable way to leave your answer. All right. Thank you guys, and have a great day.